One of the most asked questions we get is how much does it actually cost to start with the Airbnb business? And because I'm right now in Ethiopia, I tried to find this out here in Addis. I haven't built anything here myself, but I now figured out the licensing part. I know more about the regulations, the laws, the documents and everything you need. But of course, what's also a big part of it is the furniture. So how much do you need to furnish an apartment to get started with this kind of business? And this is what I'm here for right now. I'm a bit on the outskirts of the city. I drove like almost an hour out of the city to a furniture workshop here. That's quite good, very unique quality furniture. So now I'm here to find out the numbers for how much investment it approximately is, because every country differs. Kenya, the numbers differ, the quality differs from workshop to workshop, from depending on what you want specifically. Zanzibar, the same thing, and now I want to find it out in Addis because now we know the approximation of the rental prices, what I showed you in the last couple of videos. The same thing for the legal regulations, what documents you need as a diaspora and as a foreigner. And now I think the piece that's missing now is how much does it cost to furnish the property, because the licenses don't bring you anything when you don't have the right furniture in place and know how much money you need to spend here. So let's figure that out together. And I show you a little bit of the workshop. I try to figure that out specifically, that you have some numbers in mind, that you can actually make use of the information you have now and take action. So let me just take you with me now. So I just came from the workshop actually. I show you. Somehow he has like a smaller showroom in the unfinished building here, but very nice, I would say, furniture. I will show you here. Just here is the actual workshop. We can maybe just enter quickly as well. So it's always with these things, because it's like not from a how do you say, like from a furniture store. They do everything custom made, and he's, for example, also supplying he showed me a design he made for the Hilton Hotel. He supplying French bakery, so he's doing bigger projects and like supplying like entire shops and businesses as well. So it's quite they do quality work. Salam, I come inside one quickly. I come just yeah, let me just show you how the workshop actually looks. I also have some other videos, you see. They have around like 20 people working here. So it's yeah, they do quite quality work here, Yeah, but just to give you an approximation as well, it's like, for example, as an example, as we saw, I show you in the picture, like a chair like this, when it's finalized, it will look something like this, but smaller. For example, I will show it on the screen. I'm thinking of he told me it's between, depending on the exact style, it's like between 12 to 16,000 birr, for example. So it's quality work, it's better than like what I think a lot of other things I saw already here when I went, for example, to Piazza. They had also furniture workshops, but they did furniture, but not as nice and quality like they do now. Yeah. Another example, I would also put the numbers, approximations, I said, because everything is custom made. You cannot, yeah, like if I ask for a price for a bed, like what specific bed do you want? Do you want carvings? Do you want, which size do you want? Like there's so many differences. But just another example, for example, a bed that's, I told him now is like 1 meter 80 times 2 meter, for example. This would be more my size because I'm quite tall. He said it's between 100 and 110,000, for example, birr. So it varies heavily, He said smaller beds, of course, are also cheaper, but it's also very quality work. From the things I saw now, we'll show you also on the screen now. The things at least I saw, for example, a dining table with 8 seats. Yeah, the chairs would be approximately 120,000 Ethiopian birr, and the table itself would be another 50,000 birr, because also like around 2 meter 50 in length, so it's quite big as well, So I hope these numbers give you a little bit of an understanding of what it could cost. Now this is just one example of a workshop I found, and then you can get things cheaper, you can get things much more expensive, and furnishing an entire place also, like, it depends what you want, the only thing I can say is also, like, he's a very good, let's say, one contact person you can request everything you need from. Yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention is, for example, he gave me an estimation for a kitchen. He said per meter, for example, that they design for you with the cupboards for 1 meter is approximately 25,000 Ethiopian birr. That is correct, just an approximation without the, I think, what is it called in English, I forgot the word, but like the countertop, it's a different material, it's not wood. So the price is also different for this one, So yeah, it's always hard to define, you know, like if you have a 1 bedroom, if you have a studio is different, if you have a 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, if you have an entire house with 2, 3 different floors, the prices can vary. But now at least you have a approximation for like some real quality work, like from someone who already supplies hotels, restaurants, and like bigger customers here in Addis or in Ethiopia here. But I bet you can also find things cheaper, but always also one of the lessons is always also like that cheaper is not always necessarily better, you know, because you save now, but it looks different, you know, you don't have this luxury touch. For example, for your apartment, the materials will break a bit earlier, you know, like customers will not have the same level of comfort, for example. So all these different nuances, you know, like also if you invest a bit more into furniture, for example, now for, I would just guess from this one, I don't know the numbers in birr exactly, but from what he just gave me, 110,000. Yeah, let's say approximately if you have a 1 bedroom, you might spend, I would say, for this good quality furniture, but that also makes you stand out, you know. Maybe let's say $10,000, for example, $12,000, just approximations, you know. The numbers you need to get in from the actual, from him, for example, or from other workshops or furniture stores you find here. Also with the small details, you need the kettle, you need all these different smaller elements and amenities for your apartment. Also the cost can vary. I'm not very specifically sure how much are knives, say quality knives, how much are plates, how much are glasses, whatever, you know, like all these smaller details. I would just now approximate it at like around, if you really spend time on searching and like really finding the right place to buy, it's like approximately for 1 or 2 bedroom, maybe 2 bedrooms, like approximately maybe $10,000 approximately, might be 12, 13, if you want to make it decent, you know. And once again, to come back to the point also why I think it's important to also like make something unique, you know, like whether you spend $3, $4, $5,000 more, if you have the money, if you have the funds, if it's possible for you that you stand out, build something that's actually different. Because maybe you saw some of the other videos I made where I went to viewing different apartments here across Addis, and oftentimes you saw that they look too similar, you know. They have the same couch, they have the same design for the TV stand, they have the same design for the beds, so they're not really, you don't give your customers that you try to attract a reason to book your place. And then in the end you just compete about price, you know. And I think I mentioned already, but price is something we try not to compete for. And that's why we just want to make it different, you know. It doesn't need to be expensive, but it needs to be different, you know. Even if this is over your budget, for example, I might know that there are other workshops or other places you can still get unique pieces from. You do it yourself, whatever, you know, like there's so many other options that you could make it still different, you know, like just from the design style, you know. And it's more about, for me now, what I learned is also a bit more about the creativity you can bring into Salam. Creativity you can bring instead of like the funds you have. Of course, you need money for this kind of business because it's a physical one. You need to set up, you need to pay the rent, you need to pay the licenses, you need furniture, you need stuff, you know. But in the end, someone who has even $100,000 to furnish one apartment, if they don't have the creativity, they will just do the same thing everybody else does and spends $100,000 on it. And if you just have 10, Salanda, if you just have 10 and have more creativity and you can bring more soul into the place, then it's even worth more than the 100 that they spend, for example, you know. So it's not always about the money, it's also about the, like, what story are you trying to tell, you know. It's like maybe we try not to sell beds only, we try to sell also a story, you know, like a feeling that someone gets when they stay in your property, you know. If it's a business traveler, it needs to be suited for them, you know. It's like they need to feel comfortable there for a longer stay, for example, or like just for a short trip for 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it is, you know. If it's someone who's the first time coming to Ethiopia or Addis or any other place, for example, now they also need to feel maybe a bit more of the vibe of the local cultures and customs, for example, you know, like culture, sorry. So all these different nuances, I think they are so important, you know. This is just me now speaking from the place to not forget my thoughts. But I hope this helps a bit to understand pricing for furniture and stuff like this. But I think it's comparable to most other places I've been to as well, in Kenya or yeah, Zanzibar, you know, for quality work you pay a bit more, you know, but they can also design everything you want. You know, you show them a picture, you tell them measurements, sorry, been a long day, and then they can just build it for you, you know. So therefore, I think I will close this video now with these words. And in case that's something you want to build, a short-term rental, or you already have a short-term rental business here on the African continent, you need guidance, you need support, you need some more community that also helps you to be accountable and stuff like this, then I put the link down below in the description for our community, where we only work with short-term rental hosts, work together as a community, improve our businesses and build something sustainable that has a long-term positive impact on us and also the community. So therefore, if that sounds like this is something for you, link is down below in the description. I appreciate you watching, and I hope I could give you a lot of value as always from me spending my time coming to these places. So I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.